All right, y'all. What's going on today, baby? Big hump day. Big hump day right here on a big Wednesday, September the 4th. It is that 4 o'clock hour. We're going to give y'all a little artist of the day. And it is none other than the one and only Jivin Bourgeios. My buddy, my friend, my musical brother. Jivin Gene was born in Port Arthur, Texas. He is 84 years old, y'all. This guy has been all over the country, the world. He's even been to the West Bank. He played for my Uncle Wayne's benefit years ago. I think it was 2014. We called him up, and he gladly came down. Him and Ken Marvel came down for my Uncle Wayne's benefit when he had his stroke. So I want to thank him for that, first of all. Second, he is one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet. And an incredible artist, singer. 84 years old. We just did a show with him in June at the Rock and Bowl in New Orleans for our second annual Swamp Pop show over there. And we were back Jivin Gene up quite a few times. And he was always very easy to work with. Great voice, strong voice, very genuine guy. Whatever, it went with the flow with everything, man. And he was always so appreciative. I'm gonna play some songs by him and give y'all a little bit of a history. I mean, I don't know much about a lot of these songs right here, but I know one thing. I love them. I love these songs. I always love these songs. I'm gonna play one right now called "You're Jealous." He recorded back in the day, I think 1960, something like that. And this is on his 2009 CD, this recording, but he recorded it back in 1960 when he released it. And it's called "You're Jealous," and I want to play it by my good buddy Jivin Gene, y'all, from Port Arthur, Texas.
You're jealous, 'cause when I wink my eye at the pretty little girls walking by, you get upset, and baby, I bet you're jealous. You're jealous when I mention another girl.
My good old buddy Jivin Gene over there, baby, in Port Arthur, Texas. That's what I'm talking about. You're Jealous, recorded in 1960, released. You know what I'm saying, y'all? My buddy. All right. Jivin Gene. Let me give y'all a little bit of history that I know about Jivin Gene. He started out playing real young. And he started out actually playing guitar. Taught himself how to play guitar. Started a little band. It was called Gene and the Saints. And then they grew into Gene and the Jokers. And one night they was playing a gig. I think the name of the place was called Stewart's Club. And the record producer, Huey Moe, just so happened to walk into the place. And Huey Moe at the time had a radio station. Well, he was doing a Cajun program on a radio station, KPAC. And at this time, Jivin Gene already had written two of his biggest hits, Going Out with the Tide and Breaking Up Is Hard to Do. So him and Huey Moe got to talking and decided to record this. So they recorded it, and that was two of his biggest hits. I think Going Out with the Tide got to the chart at about 101, which is it was one out of the top hundreds. But Breaking Up Is Hard to Do got to 69 on the chart. And I looked all over the internet for Going Out with the Tide, and I could find it on YouTube, but Apple Music and all them other guys don't have it. But I do have the 45. So I went and I downloaded. I played the 45, and I think this song is incredible. It was a great song. It should have been a bigger hit than what it was, to be honest with you. Going Out with the Tide, 1959, on the Mercury record label, and I'm going to play that version. I got that version for y'all. I'm going to play it right now. My buddy, Jivin Gene, Bourgeios.
Well, I'm going down to the river, going to go out with the tide, 'cause you said you didn't love me, and we bid our last goodbye. Won't you please, please come back home, dear? Let me hold you in my arms. Let me prove that I'm your man, dear. Let me give you all my charms. The day you went away, I was feeling so blue. I didn't know what to do. Won't you please come back home to me? Let me hold you in my arms. Well, I'm going down to the river, going to go out with the tide, 'cause you said you didn't love me, and we bid our last goodbye.
Oh, what happened here, bro? I ain't ready for you yet, man. But you next. Keep it on hold right there, bro. Accidentally hit the button, y'all. But that song's coming up next. But, all right, Going Out with the Tide. What a great song, man. I love that song. Quite a few people has recorded that song. Freddie Fender, Going Out with the Tide. I think Van Broussard did a cut on that. Real quick story about that that I dug up. Comes to my attention that when they wanted to cut that song with Huey Moe, they actually cut the vocal tracks in the restaurant at the radio station. hey, hey, that's not unheard of. Let me tell you, I remember I was doing my Let the Groove movie CD, and I actually recorded that in Jason Parfay's utility room, the vocals. Crazy, man. We was in there, and he said he had his little studio set up in his garage, and it was time to do the vocals. And I said, where we doing the vocals at, man? He said, I got you set up in my utility room. I said, what? And the funny thing is, he had an air-conditioned vent there, and he had to turn it off because if not, you can hear the air blowing through on the vocal track. So talk about hot in that utility room, bro. Thank you, Jay. That was a great CD, though, man. But look, yeah, so he cut those tracks, those vocal tracks, in a restaurant at the radio station. And Jivin Gene, actually, Huey Moe is the guy that gave him that name, Jivin Gene. His real name is Gene Bourgeois. Y'all know that. Okay, now let me get on. I want to tell y'all a little story one time. It's a cool little story. I used to be a salesman. I used to sell offshore scaffolding, painting, blasting, and insulation for a company called Brand. Well, anyway, I had some customers of mine that was in Beaumont, Texas. So I would go down there probably once a month, maybe every 6 weeks. They was one of my big customers. And I would take them to lunch and, talk business and do stuff like that. Well, one day, we go into this restaurant, and I can't remember the name of it. It was a seafood restaurant, though. And I got about 6 or 7 guys from the company that was my customer. And we walk in the place, and the place is packed. The restaurant was packed, so I figured the food was good. So we get to the table. They sit us down. We're sitting down. Everybody getting their drinks, and the little waitress comes up and takes our order and stuff like that. And I could hear this voice talking with a group of people. And I'm like, and I'm not looking at this point at where it was at, but I can hear it. And I said, man, that voice sure does sound familiar. Well, then I start to look at, okay? I start to looking around once I try to figure this out. Well, lo and behold, Jivin Gene is in the restaurant with some of his buddies, okay? So I get up, and I go over there, and I say, hey, man, tell him hello, give him a hug. And we talked for a couple minutes, and he said, what are you doing in Beaumont, Texas? I said, well, I don't know if you know this or not, but I do have a day job. That was back in the day. I only play music now, and I do this stuff here. So he said, well, that's crazy, man. And then, he said, you want to sit with us? I said, well, I got all my customers over there. And so I'm going to go sit with them. But, man, it's good to see you. And we talked for a few minutes how he was doing and if he was playing a lot and stuff like that. And he said, oh, yeah, man, I'm still playing. I'm still playing here. He was doing a good bit with Ken Marver at the time and some of the Swamp Pop shows. And he did a few gigs with us. Like I said, he just did one. But so I get done with talking with Gene, and then I go back to the table, and the owner of the company that was one of my customers, Mr. Terry messaged me. He said, you know Gene? I said, oh, yeah. He said, man, I used to bounce. I used to be a bouncer when I was younger. And he said, Gene used to, I don't remember the name of the club, but he said, Gene used to always play in the club, and I was a bouncer before I started the offshore work, construction work. So it was a cool story that he knew Gene, and he said, man, that was great. That was great that you knew Gene. And then we got to talking about him, how they was young. And, Gene was a genius back then, man. People loved him, and they still love him. I'm going to tell you right now. They still love that guy. He's a sweetheart. I love doing shows with him. And like I said, he came down when my Uncle Wayne had a stroke in 2014. We called him up to see if he wanted to do it. My Uncle Wayne loved him. And he said, you think you can call Gene and see if he wants to come down, man? I said, I'll call him. I said, that's a long ride. I said, but if he's up to it, I'm sure, man, look, he didn't even hesitate when I asked him. I said, you and Ken, y'all could come down. And they came down. They did their little set. Then they got back to Texas. It was a sweet thing, man. And my Uncle Wayne appreciated him doing that, to be honest with you. So that was a quick little rundown of a little story with Gene, man. But I'm gonna do this song that tried to play before I queued it up. I don't know what happened. I guess I hit the button. But this is another one that he recorded on the Mercury label before he went to Gen. And it's called You Make a Fool of Me. And I got the version that he recorded on his CD in 2009. And it goes like this: You make a fool of me by Jivin Gene, y'all. There you go.
You make me cry, weep and moan. You make me sit home all alone. Oh, why do you make a fool of me? A fool of me. You know I love you. I love you so. If you don't love me, let me go. Oh, why do you make a fool of me? A fool of me. Baby, this can't go on. If you don't love me, leave me alone. Oh, why do you make a fool of me? A fool of me. I hope that someday you'll be the fool and have to pay. Oh, why do you make a fool of me? A fool of me. You make me cry, weep and moan. You make me sit home all alone. Oh, why do you make a fool of me? A fool of me. I hope that someday you'll be the fool and have to pay. Oh, why do you make a fool of me? A fool of me.
I like that, man. I love it. Oh, another great song by Gene, man. You Make a Fool of Me. He's done that quite a few times with us on when we back him up. And one of them little pictures y'all just seen was a picture of me and Gene. He did, I think, either one or two of my Christmas bashes at Pat's. And he always traveled with some friends. J.K. Petaway and Mr. Jimmy Guidry over there. They always come see him and follow him. They've been following him for years, and they're good friends of mine also. And so we had him that day, and let me tell you, that was one of the first times I backed up Gene, and it was great, man. It was great. Like I said, he's so easy to get along with, man, and work with, and he's one hell of a guy, I tell you. Real nice guy. Brought him to Rock and Roll this year. He got to meet my wife and our crew. And he just did a show, and he had told me this at Rock and Roll, and he did a show at Antone's in Austin. And it was just so happened that he was telling me that he was doing it. And then we also had Al Lil Fats Jackson on the show at the Rock and Roll New Orleans in June. And he told me, he said, man, we playing together again, me and Al. He said, we're going to Antone's. And I said, really? That's cool, man. So, and, you know, it's always good to see other artists do well, man. And I really appreciate these guys. It's in my heart and soul to promote some of these guys too, man, because this is the reason why these guys are the reason why the music is what it is today and why we play this swamp pop music. I mean, it's got a feeling, it's got a story behind these songs. And it just means a lot. All these songs tell a little story, and a lot of them got to do with life stories. So, but he released all these, the ones that I'm playing on Mercury Records, and then he got out of there after a few years, and he got with Jen, and they redid a couple songs, and they recorded some more songs down the road. But then Gene got out of the business for a little while, for I guess about 20 years. He was working construction and stuff like that, so he got out for a little while, but he never quit writing. He never quit writing. He always wrote music. And then later on in life, he got back into it. And like I said, people still love him. They still listen to him. They went seeing him. And he's a credible entertainer. He's an incredible singer, man. He's got a strong voice. And he's an entertainer, man. I love to watch him sing when we play it. And he holds that microphone with two hands, boy. And you could tell he feels every word that comes out of his mouth. So we really appreciate Gene, and we love working with him. And he's one of a kind. So let me get on to the last one I'm gonna play for y'all. This was his big hit, okay? He released this in 1959, and then Jen took it, and then they made it a hit. I think it got up to number 69 on the charts. And everybody knows the song as Breaking Up Is Hard to Do. And I'm going to play it right now by my buddy, Jivin Gene.
Breaking up is hard to do. Breaking up is sad and blue. Making up is a thing to do. Don't you know what I say is true? Like I told you once before, this fussing and fighting there'll be no more. I will make this promise to you, just to prove my love is true. Breaking up is hard to do. Breaking up is sad and blue. Making up is the thing to do. Don't you know what I say is true? Like I told you once before, this fussing and fighting there'll be no more. I will make this promise to you, just to prove my love is true.
Yeah, that's it, baby. That was the hit. Jivin Gene, y'all. Breaking Up Is Hard to Do. All right, my friend. That is it for Artists of the Day today. Jivin Gene from Port Arthur, Texas. He's 84 years old. He is still performing. We're actually working on something right now to do a show in December at the Honky Tonk in Silsbee, Texas. And I had mentioned this to Gene, and he wants to do it, so we're trying to work that out. But listen, y'all check him out. He still got his music on Apple Music, iTunes, YouTube. All his older stuff's on YouTube. Y'all check him out. He's a good friend of mine. And real quick, y'all, I want to let y'all know this episode It's brought to you by Elton LeBlanc and Sons out of Scott, Louisiana. Mr. Keith LeBlanc, he sponsored this show today. So y'all also check them guys out. But yes, sir, today's artist of the day, Jivin Bourgeios from Port Arthur, Texas. You're a great friend. You are a musical brother. And we love you, man. And we hope you keep doing this forever and ever because we can't wait to see you again and play with you again, man. So y'all guys, take care. Thank y'all so much for tuning in today. And we'll see y'all again tomorrow. Y'all stay safe out there. And y'all have a great day.